question I wanted to hit you with was, of course, how did you assess this weekend's fight between Leo Santa Cruz and Tank?
I just thought Leo was actually fighting very well. I thought Tank was having a little bit of trouble maybe figuring out what exactly would work. I think it was kind of like one of the first fights that was somewhat more competitive towards Tank than the previous opponents. The previous opponents were not maybe the most competitive, and this time he had a little bit of trouble early on, and Leo was actually fighting very well. Just so happens that, you know, anything can happen in boxing at any given moment, any given second, and got caught with a great uppercut, you know, strong. Tank is very strong and hurt Leo bad, you know. It was the one punch knockout power that Tank has, you know. I think Leo fighting Tank, you know, who's naturally bigger. I think Leo's power wasn't enough to really, you know, do much damage. Even though he was fighting very well, but Leo's a smaller fighter, naturally smaller. So I think that was something that Leo was having you know, against him. That naturally bigger, but that's what happens, you know. Sometimes you move in weight a couple times, but then eventually you hit a wall where your power's no longer there, or you know, you start losing the speed, sometimes because of the weight. In this case, I think Leo's power was not enough to hurt Tank, and Tank obviously started getting a little more comfortable, but once he landed a few shots, you can see the power.
Now, do you think that Leo did well enough up until, what was it, the sixth round? Yes, the sixth round to actually maybe go back and ask for a rematch?
I mean,
do you think
he could? I don't know if that's what they plan on doing. I think he could also take other fights before a rematch. There's other fighters that he could be facing also. So he's got a lot of options if he wants to get, you know, maybe even come back down to 126 possibly. 126, 130. I think 126 is probably a better weight for him.
But you know, it's funny that you're saying this, like, you know, given you're Mikey Garcia, and this has been something that's actually been said to you. Why does he want to fight at 147? Why doesn't he just want to stay at 140? So it's funny because you're more or less like saying the same thing for Leo. You know, because Leo, you know, he was kind of doing the same thing. Like, no, this is, you know, what I want to do. Now, so let's just say, hypothetically, if Leo does the same thing Mikey Garcia is doing, like Mikey went up against, you know, Jesse, and he came out the victor. And you know, you say too, in the future, you definitely want to get that rematch with Spence. And I don't know what, you know, Leo says. Actually, you know, I've spoken to him, but just kind of like, you know, I'm happy you're okay, and you did it, you know, you stood up and you went in there. But I'm just saying, like, you know, do you you know, more or less like I was saying, do you believe that, you know, he could have a chance? But maybe you're saying to get another, like somebody else under the belt.
I have a lot of options when it comes to fighting at 140 or maybe staying at 147, even though a lot of people don't think I should be there. Naturally, my body's not a welterweight, obviously, so yeah, I could come down to 40. Leo could do the same. He could come back down either 26 or stay at 30 if he wants to. He's got options, you know. And I've explained to you and everybody else why I'm not at 40. You know, the only two champions, one of them is with my brother, Jose Ramirez. The other champion is with Top Ranks, with Josh Taylor with Top Rank. If you guys don't know shit about boxing, haven't been following me long enough to know that Top Rank and I are not going to be doing business, why the fuck am I going to be at 140 for? If I ain't going to get a title shot, if I ain't going to be able to get a title shot at 40, what am I going to do there?
So it's politics.
So I'm going to go look for a shot at 147. even if it's not my most comfortable weight, even if I'm not at my best, that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'll fight there. I'll try to find a title shot there.
Okay, so how would you? I know this is because we kind of went from talking about Leo Santa Cruz and him staying at, you know, his weight right now, to then going and talking about your weight now, and then of course we went back to, like, you know, whether if he should, you know, seek out a rematch. But you think regardless, if there is a rematch, you know, in the future for him, that he first take another fight in between that.
You can do whatever. There's many options. I'm not saying he has to do this or that.
But a suggestion, just kind of like, you know, because
Look, he was fighting well, so nothing that he did that night is telling me that it was a total mismatch or that it was a wrong fight. No, he was fighting very well. I thought the fight was pretty even, so he could definitely fight a rematch. But based on the knockout loss, I would think it may be a better idea to fight another fight or two before trying to push for a rematch. If he still even wants to
yeah,
go after a rematch. I don't.
No, I don't either. You know, I just know sometimes, you know, when you know, the boxer, you know, can see that he was doing pretty well, he's gonna be like, damn, like, let me just get one more shot. Let me see if I can, you know, protect myself.
It was a pretty bad knockout, you know, so that makes things a little different. He was fighting very well, but that knockout loss, you know, that punch can still be lingering there, you know, even months after.
No, of course. I mean, he's never been dropped like that.
I don't know if he's ever even been dropped before. Have you been dropped before?
No, he got
kind of like stumbled one time with Frampton or some shit.
He got, like, what's that called? The rabbit punch behind the head, and he just took a knee for a second, but he recovered very fastly. So okay.